All right, guys and gals, back to work. Election day coming out tomorrow. And man, oh man, there must be some big news coming tomorrow because the markets are all chopped up inside some ranges now. Those are two important clues. Big election day, big news coming tomorrow, and big sideways choppy ranges. Now, ranges, they love to rotate. That means reversals on my radar for tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow's election day, which means anything is possible. That means breakouts on my radar. Breakouts and reversals are probably where the money is made on Tuesday, election day. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to cover my favorite reversal trades, my favorite breakout trades. By the time we're done tonight, you'll have an easy roadmap to make some money no matter who wins the election on Tuesday afternoon. So enough of the intro. Charts ready to go here. Let's go make some money on Tuesday, decision day, election day 2024. Charts ready to go here. As you can see, the E-mini and the SPY is all ready. The NASDAQ, triple Qs are all ready. I have two very important clues on these charts here tonight that are telling us where I think the winning trades are waiting for us tomorrow. One of those big clues is right here on these hourly charts in front of me here this evening. We had that big move down last week on the S&P and SPY, big move down here on the NASDAQ, triple Qs. There's no doubt about the bears have all the control right now on this higher time frame, but look where we are. We're sitting right at major lows on the S&P and SPY, and equally as important, major lows on the NASDAQ and the triple Qs. Again, no doubt the bears have control, but it's tough to want to sell all the way down here after such a big move going lower. That big move down into support tells me I'll bet both the buyers and the sellers have equal opportunities to make money tomorrow. It's one really big clue here for Tuesday morning. Now, I have an even more important clue. I have one more important clue on some faster time frames. Some tick charts help us wrap this all together, put a game plan for tomorrow, and time some winning entries on Tuesday morning. Before I dive into that final clue on some tick charts, though, let's check schedule for tomorrow. There are three things on my mind for tomorrow. First things first, of course, is that ISM service number at 10 o'clock Eastern time. That is always something I keep on my radar. The second thing for tomorrow is obviously tomorrow is election day. I'd be lying to you right now if I said I knew who's going to win or how the market will play out tomorrow. So there definitely is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of known unknowns for tomorrow. That will definitely be a moving target as polls begin to close tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. We'll do our best to work around that. And one thing I want to give you guys a heads up on, there'll be no video coming out on Wednesday night. I got to be out of the office on Wednesday evening, so no video. I'll be here tomorrow night, but no video on Wednesday night. So ISM services tomorrow. Election day means anything is possible. I'll do my best in tonight's video, of course, to give you guys a roadmap. No matter what these markets do on election day, there'll be an easy roadmap to make some money. And again, we'll talk about this more tomorrow night, but no video coming out on Wednesday night this week here. Let's get back to our charts, though, because it's good to know when that big news is scheduled, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. But we all know by now, right? The money is made on the charts in front of us. Let's start first tonight in the S&P and SPY. We'll wrap things up on the NASDAQ and the triple Qs here. Big move down, all kinds of bear momentum right now on the hourly chart, on the S&P and SPY. But again, look where we are. We're right around that big low from earlier on in the month of October. A very difficult spot to want to be a seller, and that definitely gives the buyers and the sellers, I think, just as much opportunity here on both sides of the coin for tomorrow. Let's now drill down to our faster time frames, our tick charts, because we're not going to trade off a time chart tomorrow morning in our trade room. I like tick charts. Tick charts make everything so much easier. All the time frames, by the way, are in the upper left-hand corner of these charts. That's 7,000 tick chart linked up top there. And if you're watching for the first time right now, welcome to the channel. That is the 21 EMA. As you can see, it's pretty much the only indicator we use to find winning trades each week. Now, there really is one big clue here on these tick charts, but But in actuality, it's actually broken up into two important clues here. First things first, there's a range right in the middle of that chart, that big run down last week, went into a trading range. Now, why are ranges important? Well, because ranges act like magnets and ranges love to rotate. So we go below the range, above the range, below the range, above the range, back below the range. Ranges love to rotate. So knowing that, I want to buy low, I want to sell high, I want to buy low, sell high, and trade the rotation. Rotation is a big, big theme until we see a breakout. There's one more clue here, though, I want to point out here, and I'm sure you know this if you're a student of mine right now, but this afternoon, we made that V bottom off of that low popped up into another trading range. Now, again, if we understand that ranges like to rotate, we're now coming off the underbelly of that range, and oftentimes this will slingshot and rip going higher. We have that larger range trying to rotate. Now we have that smaller range, which unless something changes overnight, of course, tomorrow's election day, anything's possible, right? But this should now want to rotate and run higher and kind of slingshot this move going higher. So knowing those two ranges are suggesting now we're going to continue this range rotation back and forth right now. There are a number of trades I can look for tomorrow. Now, in my trade room, we have this saying that goes, failures at the edges, traps as it rotates. Failures at the edges, traps as it rotates. We run lower. I look for failure patterns like I teach in the free video course. One try, two try, trap in sellers. We call these failure patterns, right? Run the stops. We call these failure patterns. Failures at the edges and traps as it rotates. Trap patterns are very simple. Higher high in price, right below that low. Failures at the edges, traps as it rotates. Failure patterns at the edges, trap patterns as it rotates. As we get back up into key areas of resistance, it's once again, it's failure patterns at the edges. And when I say failure patterns, think about one try, two try, like I teach in our free video classes. Failures at the edges. Why failures? Because we're going to trap those bulls in, run those stops, and again, traps as we rotate. Lower low in price, traps as we rotate. And again, this may sound like a broken record right now, but this is the way ranges work. We wait for a breakout, we trap the breakout bears in, failure pattern first. As it rotates higher, it's that higher high in price, it's that move right below that low. We call those trap patterns in our free video classes. We go up, in this case, it's buyer failures off the high, 1 and 2, failure patterns at the edges. And again, as it rotates, right? As it rotates lower, it's a trap pattern. As it rotates, it's a lower low in price with a move right above that high. Failures at the edges, traps as it rotates. So if we understand that kind of core principle about how these markets work right now, as we start going higher, it's obvious the right trade to look for right now. It's obviously going to be in this case, a bear trap pattern. Remember, when it comes to trap patterns, guys, you want to get some separation off that moving average. Separation of the moving average, higher high in price, there's your trap as it rotates. Now, as we go higher, this may keep on going higher here. We may see a breakout tomorrow into the results coming in from the election. At some point tomorrow, the Mars will probably figure out who's going to win, and we'll probably see a breakout of this range. Later on in this video, I'm going to talk about breakout patterns on the NASDAQ. So don't you go anywhere. If you like making money, definitely stick around all the way to the multiple breakouts here in the second half of this video. As we go higher here, remember, I don't want to pick a top on this. I don't know how far this will go, but we do know that once I get around the edges of the range, it's always going to be a failure pattern. Again, failure pattern is very simple. Don't pick a top on this. Let these buyers try once. Let them try twice. Why twice? Because now we know where their pain is. Now we know where their stops are. We can run those stops, strong move back down, And remember, when it runs back lower, we now are trading the rotation. I want to see separation off the moving average, lower low in price. That sets up for a classic trap pattern. In this case, it'd be a trap pattern, a bull trap pattern as we run lower. Once we take out the edges, we don't sell down here. We look for what? Failures at the edges, right? So 1 try for the bears, 2 try for the bears, failures at the edges, traps as it rotates back and forth. Now, pretty simple game plan for tomorrow, but let's slow down for a second because I know that most of you guys watching right now, you know these patterns already. You love traps and failure patterns, but if you're here for the first time right now, even though this is a pretty simple game plan, this might be a brand new language to learn, a brand new strategy to learn. So don't you worry, I teach this entire roadmap. I have hundreds of examples of traps and failures. I love ranges to cover a lot more of that inside our free video classes. I want to teach you guys the entire roadmap. What I'll do is I'll put a link up top here for you. Upper right-hand corner, grab that link that popped up and take that free trading course because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a stupidly simple trick we use in our members trade room that tells us where the winning trades are going to be each morning. More importantly, I want to teach you my 4 favorite entry patterns, failures, traps, help you time better entries, start making a lot more consistent money. Guys, the markets are way too good right now not to be making consistent profits. If you're tired of missing the best entries, if you've lost your confidence in your current trading strategy, hit that link that popped up there. Take that free video course. Everyone loves the trade examples I include in that short video series. It is perfect for anyone who's serious about making money in these markets. And also be aware too, guys, I'm going to put all the important links I talk about tonight in the description of the YouTube video. Start first with the free video class with all the links down there you need to learn more about the free video series. Also, don't forget too, we trade together every day in our trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll put all those details in the description of the video. And if you're on Twitter X, I'm on Twitter X posting charts and videos and mindset stuff throughout the day, every day. If you're on Twitter X, give me a follow. Again, all the details you'll need to learn more and hopefully earn a lot more be linked up in the description of the YouTube video. So that's you can go out and learn more, all the topics talked about here tonight on the video. We talked about, right, as we go up, right, it's failures at the edges, traps as it rotates, right? Traps as it rotates, failures at the edges, traps as it rotates. That's the way we trade range reversals and range rotation. But what if we break out, right? What if this thing starts to break down? What if we break out and run lower? What if this reversal off this low, what if it keeps on going? At what point do we know we have a breakout? And at what point do we then start trading breakout pullbacks, right? When do we know the breakout is ready to be traded? Great question. I mentioned earlier that with the election tomorrow, anything is possible right now with this election coming tomorrow morning. Let's talk breakouts now on the NASDAQ. Before we dive in though, if you're enjoying this video here tonight, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing this link with other trading buddies. That makes a big impact on my channel because YouTube rewards me every time you like, share, and subscribe. I know we're all busy people these days, and I appreciate you guys spending a few minutes with me every evening on these videos. So thank you so much for the likes and subscribes and all the support. Now, let's get back and talk about the NASDAQ. Boy, NASDAQ made that strong run down late last week, but look where we are right now, right at key areas of support. I mentioned earlier on the S&P, this is the last place you want to be selling right now. But again, no doubt about it, the bears have all of the momentum on their side. I do think we play our cards right tomorrow. There'll be some buy side trades and some short side trades. Let's go grab a look at the tick charts here on the NASDAQ. And man, oh man, look at that range we're seeing here on a 4,000 tick chart on the NASDAQ. We have lower highs, we have higher lows. And ultimately here, right, it's one big trading range. Now, one small adjustment, whenever we have a triangle like this, the money is almost always made around the edges of these ranges. I mentioned earlier that with a range like this, it's always failures at the edges, right? Failures above the edges. And when I say failures, I'm talking about breakout, one try, two try, trap those bulls in, use their stops to run back down into that range. And again, as it runs lower here now, as it goes lower, we look for those, again, lower low and a bull trap above that high. That's again, once again, a failure around the edges, traps as it rotates. As we go lower around the edges here, right? We go lower, it's a 1, 2, it's a failure around the edge. And as it rotates higher, it's always that trap pattern going higher. Okay, so same thing over and over here now. Now, the next question is how do we trade a breakout pattern right now? What does a breakout look like here? Well, we're pretty bearish overall right now on the NASDAQ. So a breakout going lower is a definite possibility here for the bears, especially as we see more information coming out about the election tomorrow morning. If we run lower here, I'm not going to sell a breakout until I see follow through. Now, what does follow through look like? Follow through means I need to get a breakout lower. I need to hold a pullback to the 21 EMA, and I need to get a strong run going lower. This needs to be a breakdown, a pullback, and a strong run going lower. If all we get is a strong run lower, there's no guarantee this pulls back and keeps on going. All right? It needs to pull back and keep going. We have to get convincing proof we're breaking out of that trading range. So, assuming now we do get convincing break of a move below the trading range, then all we do now is we use this range now as a key area of resistance. What was support now becomes an area of resistance. Now, whenever I think about a breakout, my favorite pattern on a range breakout is basically a breakout pullback. Now, breakout pullbacks are very simple. Think about a two-legged pullback. Now, in the free video class, I talk a lot about measured moves, right? So one leg, two leg. I like to get above that moving average and use basically a measured move, right? A two-legged pullback. That will give me an area of where I can look for an entry pattern. Now, you guys know me, right? I'm not going to pick a top on that because it may keep on going. Again, we do expect to see some incredible volatility around the election tomorrow morning. So I'm not going to pick a top on that. What I will do, though, is wait for that price to pull back to that moving average and use that same failure pattern. That one try, that two try, trap those bulls in, and very similar, that failure first, and then as we go lower, it's always going to be that add-on entry with that. In this case, it's a bull trap, right? Going lower there. The most important thing that you will remember is if I see a breakout going lower, they actually hold that breakout. The bears now, they want to come back and take out that low. Their goal is to go back and take out that low. So again, if we do see a convincing breakout going lower that holds that pullback to the moving average, I then go out and find that two-legged pullback. Think about a measured move like I teach inside the free video classes. We're not going to pick a top on that. It's that two-try failure. Why two tries? Because I want to rope in those bulls and use your stops to fuel that move going lower. And just like we talked about earlier on the S&P, right? Failure first into, in this case, a bull trap. It's that lower low in price, that trap above that high. Just like failures at the edges, traps as it rotates, it's a failure on the pullback and a trap on the way back down to retest low. Remember, guys, if you want to make more money, get better at adding to your winners, and those bull trap entries are fantastic for adding to your winners. As we go lower, looking for a clear sign of a breakout and a breakout pullback off the underbelly of that trading range. Now, what would happen here? What would happen here if I ran lower and then all of a sudden just whoop and runs right back up again? How would I trade something like that? I may not get the ability here now to trap those bears in. What if we run lower and V bottom off of that low? If it V bottoms off that low, where are we in the process right now? We're during the rotation. So you know now, if we V bottom off that low, and we're now during that rotation, what's the best entry pattern during range rotation? It's always a trap pattern. Now, these are pretty simple. Mark a trend line off the highs, bring it down off that low, then look left, find one of those prior swings, that lines up around the low of that channel, and there is your trap entry off of that low. So sometimes we may not get the failure pattern off of that low. Sometimes we don't get it. Sometimes it's boing and runs back up again, and we're left scrambling. Remember, failures at the edges, traps as it rotates. As we go higher here, now going higher is a bit more difficult. We have a lot of resistance up overhead, so we might get a real strong breakout higher. But unless this thing can hold that pullback and really blast, remember, it really has to hold that breakout and pullback here, right? Because again, all of that resistance up overhead and all that bear momentum coming down overhead. So be very careful here for tomorrow. If we run up, I don't care how convincing that breakout is right now. There's a good chance here. 1, 2, back down we go. However, though, if we do break out, if we do pull back to that 21 EMA, hold that pullback and jump. Remember, look back in time here. A lot of very convincing moves higher, but they're unable to hold that pullback. Show me, buyers. Show me you really have the bullets to hold that breakout and keep going higher. If we do break out, pull back, right, and go higher here now we're way, way high up. I don't want to buy high up there. I want to buy nice and low. Now we look left. We look at what was resistance back here, and we go, okay, that was resistance. Now let's use that now as a key area of support. The moving average comes up. Again, think about that 1, 2, that measured move off of the high. Whenever I think about a breakout pullback, I always think about a two-legged pullback. One leg, two leg, that will give us the general area. Okay, I'm not going to pick a bottom on that because it could easily run back down again. And we'll talk about that here in a moment here, just a second, right? But again, now we know the general area now, and now we can go out and see what happens next. Do I see bears coming in once, twice? Can I trap those bears in the failure pattern? That failure pattern then squeezes those stops running higher here. As it squeezes higher, watch for that separation above the moving average, higher high in price. There's that failure in the trap pattern we love so much in our trade room. Again, where's the market want to go right now? It wants to go back and take out that high up there. So leave that runner. Easy way to get paid going higher there. Again, it has to hold that pullback, right? Hold that pullback and jump. Show me proof there, buyers. You have what it takes to break out of this range here. And then once we do, then it's simply looking left, finding prior levels of resistance, using those in combination with that two-legged pullback, and again, that failure in the trap combination here. And just as we mentioned earlier, going lower here, if we run up and this thing gets whacked right back down again, which could easily happen because of all that bearishness we saw earlier on the higher time frame. If we don't get that failure at the edge, if we wind up V-topping and running back down, remember where you are in this game plan. We're in the rotation process right now. So find the channel off the low, mark it up around the highs up there, go find some prior swings. It's always going to be, as we see in the trade room, it's always going to be that first test, the first touch of the high of that channel. And really, this could be any of the entry patterns you guys are learning inside our free video classes. I love bull traps. I do want to be above that prior high, though, because it's during the rotation of that trading range. But in all reality, though, this could be a bull trap. It could be a buyer failure pattern. It could be a pullback combination. Any of the entry patterns you guys are learning inside the free video course. All right, guys? So ranges on our radar for tomorrow. That means lots of reversals back and forth until we see a break. Remember, please, we never trust a breakout. Make the breakout, prove it to us. Make it run lower, hold the pullback and go. Make it run higher, hold the pullback and go. Breakouts need proof. We see way too many times where it breaks out, it can't hold, and it rolls all the way back down into that trading range. That will give you a game plan to make some money on Tuesday, election day, tomorrow morning. Now, don't forget tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, guys. Guys, the best way to make money in these markets is to learn and trade along every morning at the opening bell in our trade room for SOT members. Guys, I'll put all the important links you'll need to learn more and hopefully earn a lot more. All the links you'll need in the description of the YouTube video. Start first on the free video classes. Everyone loves the free video course. Learn the roadmap, start making money on your own. And don't forget to, any trouble getting access, any error messages on the sign up form, you can always use live chat. Simply call the office, send me an email. I'll always be here to help out. Any trouble getting access to our free video classes. And hope you learned something tonight. Hope you use this knowledge to earn something tomorrow morning. And who you got for tomorrow's election? Let me know in the comment section below. In the meantime, guys, be well, be nice to each other, and be here next time, will ya? Adios, amigos. Bye for now.